Okay, 200,000. We know 200,000 is going to be my principal amount, which is my P amount, because the car was costing this amount 5 years ago, and the book or the current book value of the car is this amount, which is now the car is costing this amount. So it's going to be 800,000 equals to 200,000, and then 1 minus, and then the I, the one that I'm looking for, remember it's divided by 100 into, and then how many years? It's 5 years ago, so it's 5. Now, how do we solve I here? First thing, we're going to divide by 200,000, then divide by 200,000, then 200,000 cancels 200,000. So I'm going to have, okay, these zeros, they're gonna cancel each other. I'm gonna have 85 divided by 200 and 1 minus I into 200, and having this 5 there. Now, how do I get rid of that 5? We're gonna root of 5 both sides, and then root of 5 both sides, and then after that I'm gonna have this 5 root of 85 over 200, then equals to 1 minus I all over 100. And then from here, take these to the other side, take these to the other side. So it's going to be I all over 100 is equals to 1 minus this 5 root of 85 all over 200. And then from here, my I cross multiply is going to be 100 times 1 minus 5 into 85 all over 200. Now let's see what is my I here. Punch the calculator. 1 minus into the first root of 85 all over 200. Then my answer here is going to be 15.73%. That's the I value that we're looking for here. Now, 8.2, they're saying an amount of money was invested as a rate of 8.5% per annum compounded quarterly. Let's calculate the effective rate per annum of this investment. Now, this question, they like it in grade 11 because they know that this formula of calculating or the conversion is not given into your formula sheet. So this is the formula that you need to know by your head. So they're looking for the I effective. So 1 plus the I effective is equals to into 1 plus the I nominal is going to be 0.085 all over compounded quarterly. So divided by 4, and then into 4. Take this one to the other side, so that's I effective. It's going to be equals to this 1 plus 0.085 all over 4 into 4, and then minus 1, and then punching this in the calculator. So 1 plus into 0.085 all over 4 into 4, and then minus 1, and then you times your answer by 100. So UI effective is going to be 8.77%. Times this answer by 100 in order for us to get the rate in percentage, which is 8.77. Now, coming to this one here, they're saying Susan made an initial deposit of 28,000 into an investment account. Now, 3 years later, she made another deposit. Now, first thing, 28,000. This is my 28,000. I just made the timeline here in order for us to understand that statement. So 28,000 in an investment account. 3 years later, she made another deposit. So from T0, 3 years later, she made another deposit of 12,000, which is this one here. And then she withdrew 6.5 from the account 5 years later from the initial deposit. Now 5 years later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is here from the initial deposit. That's where the 5 years it is. Then she minus or withdrew 6,500 from the account. And then going to the interest rate now. The interest rate for the first 4 years was 12%. So this is 12% per annum compounded monthly. This is the 12 for monthly. This is just 12% for the interest rate. And then for thereafter, the interest rate changes to 12.9 per annum compounded half yearly. So thereafter here, going to the last year, which is the 8 year, according to the second statement, it's going to be 12.9% compounded half yearly. These two is for half yearly. Hopefully you're on the same page there. Now 8.3.1, they're asking us to calculate how much money Susan had in an investment account for 2 years after the initial deposit. So it's going to be A is equals to depositing this 28,000. So it's 28,000 and then 1 plus the interest rate is 0.12 all over 12, 2 years, and then 2 times 12, and then the amount that Susan will have, it's going to be 28,000, then 1 plus into 0.12 all over 12 into 2 times 12, which is Susan will have 35,552,57. This is amount that Susan will have after 2 years from the initial deposit that was made. Now, how much money will the investment be worth 8 years after the initial deposit? So how much money Susan will have after 8 years? That's basically the question is saying. Now we're gonna start from the start. We're gonna start answering question from what is happening here from the start. So A is gonna be equals to, now Susan deposit this 28,000. So this 28,000 is gonna stay in the bank here, 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 accumulating interest for these first 3 years before they deposit another amount here. So it's gonna be 28,000 in the bank, and then interest rate is 0.12 all over 12, and then staying in the bank for how many years? 1, 2, 3, interest for 3 years, and then times 12. Then after that, after having this amount that's going to accumulate in interest, he deposit another amount of money, which is this one. So it deposit another 12,000 in a bank. And then also these 12,000 in a bank plus this, it's going to stay in a bank and accumulate an interest for this 1 year here before the interest rate changes, which is 1 plus into 1.12 all over 12, and then staying in a bank for 1 year. So it's going to be 1 times 12. And then from here, let's get an answer from this one here. So the first part of this question, so it's 28,000, and then plus into 0.12, and then 12, and then 3, 3 times 12, and then add 12,000, and then 1 plus into 0.12, then into 12, and then 1 times 12. So this is the amount that is going to be in the bank for the first 4 years before the interest rate changes. So there are many ways that usually your teachers teaching you in terms of how do we do this specific question. I'm not gonna round off now since this is not my final answer. I'm just gonna write all the decimal places after that. Now, after this amount, there's this first year that is going to happen here. This first 1 year here before he withdrew this money. So this amount is going to accumulate an interest for this first year here, and then he withdraws this amount. So first year, this amount accumulates an interest of 1 into interest rate. Now it's zero. It's going to be no zero. It's 129 all over compounded. Got that half yearly now, so it's 2 into this one here, which is that 1 times 2, and then minus, because it's going to minus this amount here, which is going to be 6,500. Now from that amount, accumulated interest for 1 year, and then he withdrew that amount for 6,500. So it's 1 plus 0,129 into 2, and then 1 times 2, and then you withdraw the amount of 6,500. Then the amount that is going to be in the bank now after withdrawal is going to be 59975,097,414. Again, I'm not gonna round off because this is not my final answer. Now, after withdrawal, this amount of money will stay in the bank for another 3 years. So calculating the interest rate for 3 years now. So it's 1 plus 0,129 all over 2 into 3 times 2. Now this amount 1 plus 0,129 all over 2 into 3 times 2. So this is the amount that is going to be in the bank for 8 years. So this is how much money will the investment be worth? My investment will be worth this money for after 8 years for after the initial deposit was made. Thank you so much guys for watching. Omake.